Hello and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I want to talk about the real estate market in the beautiful city of Prague in the Czech Republic. I'll firstly give you 10 reasons why I think it could be a good place to put your money in, and then I'll give you some disadvantages and my conclusion at the end. So here are 10 good reasons to invest. Now, number one, Prague is in a very strategic location in Central Europe. And it's actually, if you look at cities like Dresden, Leipzig, Vienna, Berlin and Bratislava, all these major cities are all within 350 kilometers of Prague. Number two, I want to just briefly talk about the excellent infrastructure. So it has one of the best public transport systems in Europe, excellent telecommunications, high quality education system, and a very, very skilled labor force. Number three, let's briefly talk about demographics. Now, the birth rate in the Czech Republic is 1.67 per every female. Now, I'm not saying this is amazing birth rate, but it's a lot higher than many other countries such as Bulgaria, Spain, Italy, Portugal. And also, if we take Prague itself, the population at the moment is 1.31 million. But by 2035, it is expected to grow a little bit more to 1.35 million. Now, I'm not saying this is amazing, but it's better than a decline. Number four, I want to talk about the open investment climate in Prague and indeed the Czech Republic. So the Czech Republic has really, in the last 30 years, transformed its economy in an amazing way. And it really is what you can call a free market status economy. There are no restrictions on foreign buyers in the real estate market, which you will find in many other countries. Number five, very important, the Czech Republic is pro-landlord. So rents are freely negotiable and tenants often here have to pay 3 to 6 months deposit or produce a bank guarantee. So very good from that perspective. Number six, and I also think this is a major advantage of the Czech Republic and Prague in particular, are the extremely low buy-sell costs. So you expect to pay less than 10%. That's fantastic if you take into account buying and selling property. So between legal fees, registration fees and realtor fees, you're going to pay less than 10%. And what's excellent here, it's gone in the right direction, because in September 2020, there used to be, before September 2020, there was a real estate transfer tax of 4%, but this has been abolished. Number seven, I want to talk about the lower unemployment. So even with the pandemic, this damn pandemic that's happened, unemployment in the Czech Republic is only 4% or just over. In 2019, it was actually as low as 2%. Number eight, let's talk about the solid GDP growth. So between 2015 and 2019, this ranged from 2.3% to 5.4%. However, it did drop in 2020 by 5.6%, but it's still a lot less than countries like the UK, which fell by nearly 10%. Number nine, another great thing about the Czech Republic is the low total government debt to GDP. So in 2012, it was 44%. And in actual fact, in 2019, before the pandemic, it fell to 30%. Now, unfortunately, it has increased to around end of 2020 to around 38%. But it still is excellent when you compare it to most EU countries, the UK, the US, and in particular Japan at 250%. Number 10, also very important, this part of the video. Let's talk about low taxes. So there's no wealth tax, and pretty much the rental income tax is low, and I'll explain why. So up to 1.7 million Czech koruns, which is about 67,000 euros, you'll only pay 15% rental income tax. Above that, you'll pay 23%. However, what is important here is to note there is a standard deduction of 30% for expenses, or you can actually deduct actual expenses up to 600,000 Czech koruns, 23,000 euros, if that's more appropriate to your situation. So this is very, very, very generous. Now, I want to talk about capital gains tax. Now, capital gains tax is actually not separate in the Czech Republic. It's actually added onto your gross income for that year. However, if you keep your property, so any property purchased from 2021 onwards, if you keep it for 10 years or more, you'll pay no capital gains tax. Now, before that, it was actually only 5 years, but they've increased it to 10 years. But nevertheless, it's still good that if you keep your property for a certain amount of time, you pay no capital gains tax. Now, this would imply that if you do buy property in Prague and anywhere in the Czech Republic, you should keep your property for 10 years to avoid this capital gains tax. In particular, if you make a big gain, you're likely to pay 23% because it's added on to your other gross income in the Czech Republic, and this would include your rental income as well. So at least a part of it, you'd probably pay 23% if you made a very good gain. Now, let's come to the negatives, and unfortunately there are a few, and the biggest one is the high prices. Now, in Prague city centre, I expect to pay 5,500 euros per square metre on average, and throughout Prague, the average is about 3,000 euros per square metre. Now, this is, I think, quite high. Number two, the yields, unfortunately, are not very good in Prague. So if you take the actual city centre, at best, you're looking at about 3% gross yield. And outside the city centre, if you may be lucky and get 4 to 4.5%, but you're really not going to get much higher than this. And you'll be lucky to get 4.5%. Number three, also, I want to compare Prague with Sofia in Bulgaria. So it doesn't compare favorably. So on average, salaries are 70% higher in Prague than they are in Sofia, but house prices are actually, on average, 220% higher in Prague than they are in Sofia. And this leads me on to say that affordability, local affordability, is becoming a big issue in Prague, and indeed the whole of the Czech Republic. House prices have actually risen about 10% annually over the last 5 years, and that's more than double that of wages. Number four, tourism here is actually not going to be an advantage, because I think tourism is not going to increase that much in the future. Indeed, between 2018 and 2019, tourism numbers actually fell in Prague. And this is because Prague is really a mature market. So it's not like some of the videos where I've discussed tourism shooting up. This is not going to be the case here. It's been going up and down over the last 6-7 years. And the residents of Prague are a little bit fed up as well. Much like Barcelona, they're a little bit fed up with over-tourism, shall we say. Number five, the reason why prices have also been high in Prague is because there's been a bit of a supply shortage due to the very complex process of obtaining construction permits to build. But a new law approved in August 2020 will speed up the process. And I think that being the case, if there's more flats being built in Prague, this may slightly depress house prices as well. So I've given you my positives and negatives. If you do decide to buy, well, I've talked about the very centre, Prague 1, the historical centre, where you're going to pay on average 5,500 euros per square metre. Now, let's look at Prague 1 to 10. The most expensive, I said, is Prague 1. The least expensive is Prague 9 at 3,300 euros per square metre. But I wouldn't buy here simply because it's a 25-minute to 30-minute tram ride from the centre. So it's going to be, I think, a little bit too far for a lot of the locals, especially the younger locals. If we look at Prague 6 at around 4,050 euros per square metre, this is a nice upscale area with many embassies. It's near Green Park, a lot of green parks, and Prague Castle as well. Prague 5, I think, is one of the better investments because it's around 3,500 euros per square metre, and it's what is known as the office district. So you've got Google, L'Oreal and Johnson & Johnson are based here. And when I compare it to Prague 9, it's only 200 euros per square metre more. So I think for that little extra, it's much better to be in Prague, let's say 5, than it is to be in Prague 9. And same case for Prague 3 as well, which is also around 3,500 euros per square meter. Notice where a lot of the young people are based, and you've got a lot of nice bars to go to as well. Prague 4 also, I think, is not a bad place at 3,500 euros per square meter. It is the largest district of Prague. It has a large business center, banking and corporate offices, and it's only about a 5-minute tram ride, 5 to 7 minute tram ride to Prague 1, the center. So I think this is one of the better areas to invest. I'll briefly discuss Prague 2. Still quite expensive here at 4,000, roughly around 4,300 euros per square meter. But it is a high class area, and it is the most densely populated part with a lot of expats, and it's very picturesque as well. So I've given you very, very briefly, I could do a whole video actually on where to invest in Prague. So what's the conclusion at the end? I think it's not an amazing market. I think prices have risen quite a lot. I think if you invest here, you really got to invest for the next 10 to 15 years. It's not somewhere, I think, where you're going to see a lot of gains in the next few years. And in particular, I'll refer back to the capital gains tax as well. If you want to avoid paying that, invest for the longer term at 10 years. Anyway, that's it for today. Let me know your thoughts. Please do comment below. If you like this video, please click the like button because it does help this video get out to more people. If you like my channel, please do subscribe, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. Thank you and bye for today.